What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. On today's episode, I go 1,000 miles in a Lexus LC500. Also, we rescue kittens out of a tree. And a bunch of people are suing Toyota because their hydrogen cars kind of suck. It's a good one. And Zach and I are back in studio for the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's get to it. Panic attacks fucking blow, dude.
I mean, that's a lot of coffee. That's 400 milligrams.
Yeah, but it's so easy to do that. Like, I woke up really early, and I had a cup in my hotel room, and then Ellie and I went to breakfast at the diner, and I had a cup.
Yeah,
and then I was leaving for the drive, and so I had my pink Porsche cup, and I asked the diner to fill that.
Right.
Then I filled that and drank that, and then when I stopped, I really had to piss, but the bathroom was all, you gotta buy something.
Okay.
And so I refilled it, and then I drank it again. And then
I think
that was it.
I think you hit a point where you have to consciously pay attention to the caffeine you take in.
Yeah.
Because
I knew
this last year, it's 3 p.m. I shouldn't. I want to. I shouldn't.
I knew it like 2 years ago. I learned that. I learned that lesson 5 years ago, and then it slowly slipped.
Yeah. And
I had to really learn it again like that.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. Hannah was like, turn your location sharing on right now. Mm-hmm. She was like, and I need to know like exactly where you are. Right. Exactly. And she was like, and when you get there, you need to go inside and you need to tell the lady behind the fucking counter what's happening, which I did in front of people.
Like the hotel?
No, at the fucking gas station I stopped at.
Wait, why'd you tell the gas?
When I was having a fucking panic attack, she's like, because if you're really having a heart attack, she's like, they need to know.
That's a good point. Wow.
And I, like, in front of people, had to say to, like, a fucking Shell gas station attendant, ma'am, I pulled in here because I was not feeling well and having chest pains. And even though it kills my ego, my wife insists that I tell you that I'm going to sit on the porch and drink water for as long as it takes for me to not feel like this anymore.
Smart.
And would you please check on me?
Yeah.
How many times do you think she checked on me in the next 60 minutes?
60 minutes?
Yeah.
Zero. Through the window.
Zero. Zero is the right answer.
Yeah, she looked through the window.
Yeah,
she was like, I get paid minimum wage. Yeah.
For those of you just joining us now, welcome to the program. I was in the middle of describing a massive panic attack I had while driving to Zach. And how you never want that to happen to you.
Yeah.
And if it has happened to you, it's really bad.
It is.
And if it's happened to you, particularly while driving, and you know anyone that has had a heart attack and died while driving, then it's really bad. That guy, like 3 weeks ago, you see that?
The UPS guy?
No, our buddy Paul Kramer, Auto Kennel, shout out to him, one of the good ones. When it comes to car dealers, not a lot of people get the one of the good ones badge. Paul Kramer at Auto Kennel, one of the good ones. I wasn't there. He was on a road rally up north. I think it was up north, old 911s. An older guy driving solo had a massive heart attack while driving.
Whoa.
And crashed. And the doctor said the heart attack killed him before the crash. Later, it was said that he was dead. No, that's not true. I think he either died in the ambulance or at the hospital. But it was not, I don't think, the crash that killed him. I think it was the heart attack. But still, I think fucking Paul did CPR on him, to be honest with you, which is a crazy thing to have happen.
It's a good thing to know. Yeah.
Larry and I did CPR on somebody that had a heart attack while driving and crashed into the telephone pole in front of our shop in Harrison. When Larry and I had the car wash, our first business, we heard a revving of an engine followed by a full throttle crash into a telephone pole. It was like a 92 two-door Blazer, the square one. Fucking the pole was in that motherfucker, and the dude was on the steering wheel, foot to the floor, and me and Larry dragged this dude out of the truck, and I think I did chest compressions and he did CPR. I don't think I gave mouth to mouth to the guy. I think Larry actually did, and he was alive when he got in the ambulance, but he did ultimately die.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was fucking scary. And then, Actually, shit. They might have called it on the ground. I'm not sure if he actually got a lot. Either way, it was very sad and very crazy. And the weirdest thing about it, by far, I mean, because someone dying is tragic, but not like weird. 5 minutes after the ambulance left, there's a mother with a stroller and a baby and a dog.
Whoa. And
they stop right on the spot where the guy was and just have a normal mother-baby-puppy interaction, like, and I'm not trying to say the guy's soul or anything. I'm saying, like, on that spot, 5 minutes later, life went on.
Right.
Like,
and also new life was happening in a way.
But it was still like,
I know.
Like, you know, if you told that mother, like, hey, 30 seconds ago, there was, like, a dead guy, like, right there. Like, that would probably bug her the fuck out, too. But, like, sometimes it's better that we don't know things.
Well, yeah. And if that kid drops a cracker on the ground, she's not doing 5-second rule.
Straight up. Yeah.
Yeah. Life has to go on. It's weird.
So, anyway, those stories in mind was what was going on in my head that started the deeper level 2 of the downward spiral.
Right.
It was the caffeine-induced panic attack while driving.
Yeah, the body can influence the mind, and then it goes in a circle.
Yeah, and then the mind goes back to the body. Because you know what happened? Like, while I called Hannah to tell her this was going on and that I was going to stop at the next place, but she wanted to talk the whole way, which was actually a good idea. Because I started to feel better, and then when I hung up the phone and didn't have her to distract me, I felt worse.
Right.
But actually, my body made my left arm hurt, which is what would happen if you were having a heart attack.
What?
It's also what happens if you drive 1,100 miles in 4 days.
Oh,
because you're holding the wheel one-handed.
So you have like a shoulder
so
cramp.
So actually this muscle here is sore from doing that amount of driving.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but the spiral continues.
Right.
So like...
That's the word. I can't. That was terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Really terrible.
Yeah.
And getting back in the car was hard. And I had 6 hours to go when I got back in the car.
What day was this? Yesterday?
This was Saturday.
When you drove back?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking shitty, man. Panic attacks are the worst. I really... Yeah.
You just need to call friends to distract you for the drive.
Well, I mean, fortunately, I have a loving wife.
Right, I'm saying like
the whole way.
Sure.
The whole way.
Yeah.
No, after I sat at the gas station for 1 hour, and I set timers every 15 minutes because I was like, time is like a different thing when you're having a panic attack. I had one in Italy too. It was terrible. From humidity and being like sweaty.
Did you set a timer so an alarm went off every 15?
I set a timer so I wouldn't look at my phone or anything.
Oh, okay.
I had a book, so I read the book for 15 minutes. I wouldn't look at the time. I knew it would tell me, and if I didn't, it took 4 of those before I was like, okay. It wasn't even like, okay, I feel better. It was, okay, this isn't an actual heart attack.
Right.
Meanwhile, by the way, the whole time this is going on, my heart rate, what do you think it was?
106.
64.
What?
64 beats per minute.
Oh.
I checked it like every 5 minutes.
Well, then you're probably
totally.
not, I mean, I'm not a doctor,
absolutely
but I don't think
not having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Not only that, I just got
my
my cholesterol back. It's really good.
But you also didn't even have an elevated heart rate. Like,
no.
It wasn't even 90
No.
where you're anxious and it's going like this. Huh.
Isn't that nuts?
That's
100% mental. And I made pains happen. I made like symptoms happen. I made all of that happen with my mind. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
And my heart didn't even buy it. My brain was such a bad liar to my heart.
It's the power of it. That's wild.
Right?
Yeah.
Heart didn't buy it.
It's amazing that your heart rate wasn't actually up, though.
No, and I have a very low resting heart
Figured you
rate,
did.
like naturally.
Yeah.
You know what was way up, though? It was my blood pressure. So that's weird.
It is weird.
I don't know.
I
Some
how the
doctor
symptom
right
works.
now is... Don't worry. I have...
Yeah. No, I know you do. I'm not here. I'm like trying to remember the wilderness medicine book I read. It was like 300 pages, but the heart section was like, I read it and went, I got to read this at least 2 more times.
Yeah,
This is very complicated.
There's a reason there's doctors
And
for that,
in that book, there's like a whole chapter about how panic attacks and heart attacks and diagnosing heart attacks is very difficult, even if you're at a hospital, without having actual medical equipment.
Tim's story.
Exactly. So it's like being in the field and trying to do this. The book's like, forget it, just extract somebody. Yeah.
So Tough day on Saturday.
Wow.
All that and a 9-hour drive.
But you know what soothes nervousness like this? The LC500.
It's a great car.
It's a great commercial.
It is a great car. I mean, yeah, I guess we could talk about that. I did 1,100 miles. 1,100 and something miles. Drove to San Francisco, did the entire Seaside to Sierra Road and Track Experiences route. It's fucking awesome. Shout out to a fan named Steve who turned me on to Wentworth Springs Road east of Sacramento, out in those mountains, because fuck me, that one was a banger. We're going to do that one on the road. Berryessa Road looks fabulous. There was there was like the burned out trees from 5 years ago with like beautiful golden, wildflower blooms happening. Pretty kick-ass drive, if I'm honest. It's
cool.
And you ever been to Grass Valley in Northern California?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
Cool, really cool old mining town. Stayed in a hotel for the event we're staying in. It called the Holbrook Hotel, and it's from like 1850. But like a really cool walkable town, and they actually just their main street in the middle of town, they just banned cars.
No way.
If you go to the Google Street View of like, I think it's called Mill Street, it shows cars and parking spaces, but I was just there and like cars aren't allowed there, and it's this like delightfully popping off like pedestrian mall now.
On Main right here?
It's not Main, no. It's called Mill Street. It's like in the middle of town. Like, just look up Hotel Holbrook. It's across, there it is. And the Quick Hotel's down there, the middle one. They bought an ad and it's working for us. Oop. Where are you? There you are. So it's across that little street, Mill Street there.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, if you street view that, it'll show cars, but it's actually a pedestrian street now.
Oh, that's
this
cool.
town
Okay.
is a really cool little town. See? That turn right. Now imagine that without the cars.
Oh yeah, it's all
like
this old-timey
so
early 1900s architecture.
Yeah.
Gold Rush stuff. Yeah, cool. There's a lot of these towns like what is it? One of them starts with an A. That's basically I've had to stay in those before when our Scout broke down on the way to Tahoe. So I'm familiar with the architecture. But we also did the gold painting thing one summer. That was fun.
That's when you're a kid. That's all right.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I got some gold at Dahlonega, Georgia. That's
Really?
where they do it north of Atlanta.
We found no gold,
painting.
and I ended up buying like the little vial, probably overpriced, whatever.
Got nugs. But man, these roads, these are fucking good. The roads going in and out of Tahoe, fabulous. The roads going across Napa from between San Francisco and there, that's going to be, we got 4 banger hotels. This one's going to be really nice. And I tried to make a new section of route to avoid using, I don't like reusing routes, and we did an event in 2022, and we had to get like kind of similar places, and I was like, I need to find a new route because we did this, and I did it, and it was terrible.
Oh, no.
So if specifically anyone who was on the 2022 route versus this is going to have to drive about 36 miles of the same road we drove 3 years ago.
That's not out of how many miles though total?
Oh, like 600.
All right,
Yeah.
percentage-wise,
No,
that's not
500.
bad.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's not bad. No,
Cool.
No. I try to not do it, but it's unavoidable.
I was about to ask, like, how often have you scouted something and you go, actually, this won't work. We need to find an alternate.
Every single time I do a scout, I either hit another one. Ali came with his green car, which was a lot of fun, and he's from that area.
Yeah.
So he knows like all kinds of good stuff about it. It was very helpful. But when I'm doing Google Street View, I'm not every 100 yards of tarmac for 500 miles. I look at sections that look up and I make assumptions, and then you drive it and you go, oh shit, there's a half a mile of gravel for no reason in the middle of this road, and that happened. So
wow.
Yeah, like the road is great, and then there's no road, half a mile of gravel. Actually, it was like up over a levee. There's like these levees up there. So it's up over this big levee, it's gravel, and then it turns into pavement again. But like I don't think people will appreciate that.
Oh, okay. Streetcar was fine with it, but
most people won't mind. Out of 25 cars, 2 people will be super annoyed that they paid money and had to drive on gravel.
wow.
It's like, that's life. That's how,
of course it is.
That's
yeah,
like,
that's,
you
just,
know,
that's
it's
people.
Like
I was just thinking like
customers,
half a mile, and you're like, all we have to do is go over this levee. It's kind of cool. This is where the trucks come and bring whatever the hell, and it won't damage wheels and stuff.
But a half a mile, you know, at 5 to 10 miles an hour, that's a long time for folks to like stew about how dirty.
That's a good point.
You know, their car is getting or whatever.
Yeah. The dust trail. Yeah, that's a good 10 minutes.
It's long enough where you go, this is that all? It's a half a mile.
Yeah.
Like I clocked it. It's a half a mile, but like it's a long half a mile. It's more than like a Billy Joel song, you know, on the radio.
Okay.
To get through it. It's multiple songs. So, yeah, what are you going to do, right? I had to move the road. It's okay. The road wasn't good enough that it was like, it's not like I threw away Big Tahunga because there was...
Stelvio Pass or something.
No. I threw away an average road and picked a different average. You know, they can't all be super bangers.
Yeah.
And like, you know, a third of one of the days is like farm road straight transit. Like, well, you know, what are you going to do? You have to get to this town. Like,
but sometimes if it's 600 miles of twistiness, even that can get like monotonous unless you're, you know, at some point you just go, let's go highway for an hour, rest your brain.
No, you're right.
And then you can get back on a twisty thing.
You're totally right. And there is such a thing as like too much twisty. We are going to get close on this one because the drive from Grass Valley to Tahoe, we're making it a two-stopper because like there's a bit where it's like a full hour of like hardcore canyons. And it's awesome. It's like for most people, even for me, it's like probably top 4 or 5 roads I've driven in this country.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's awesome. And by the way, I'm not calling like the 3 that we use. That's not 3. I'm talking like we got some serious road on this one. But it's a lot. Yeah. But like there's just nothing. There's nowhere to stop. So you go from this end of it to this end of it, and there's a stop literally at each end. But it's just pretty hardcore in between. Yeah, it'll be fun as fuck though.
Sick.
That car, guys, we got to take a quick break because support today is incoming hot from DeleteMe. DeleteMe makes it easy, quick, and safe to take your personal data off the internet at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. DeleteMe does all the hard work of wiping you and your family's personal information from data broker websites because they know that your privacy is worth protecting. So you can just sign up and provide DeleteMe with exactly the information that you want deleted, and their experts taken from there. That's exactly what I did. I got the membership to DeleteMe. They sent me a sort of a questionnaire where I put in previous information about where I used to live, my old phone numbers and email addresses, plus like my parents' names, my sisters, etc. And it does take a few minutes, but like these are the things that you want protecting. And so you want to be thorough, and then you submit it, and then a couple days later they send you this huge report of all this stuff that they found. And then they send you regular personalized reports, ongoing, once a month or so, showing you what they found, where they found it, and what they have removed. So it's not just a one-time service. DeleteMe is always working for you, constantly monitoring and removing the personal information that you don't want on the internet. And I have to say, since I started with DeleteMe, compared to my wife, who has not used DeleteMe, she gets way more like spam calls, texts, emails than I'm getting. Like, I still do get some because DeleteMe is always looking for new stuff. It's always popping up. But I get way, way less than my wife does who didn't use DeleteMe. So take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe. Now at a special discount for our listeners, get 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/tire and use promo code TIRE at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/tire and enter code TIRE at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/tire, code TIRE. And also, FitBod coming in hot. Listen, I work out every single day, and here's what happens. You plateau, right? You get bored with your current workout. Maybe you're new, you don't really know what to do, or you've been working out on the same plan, you just can't get any further. That's where FitBod comes in. They set you up with a custom workout plan tailored to your fitness goals. When you use the app, right, you input, where you want to be, right? And then whether and how you want to be in the future, right? Like, here's where I am now, and I want better biceps, I want better legs, I want tighter abs, and then FitBod customizes a workout for that, right? It's very, very easy, it's straightforward, and actually, you do sort of feel the pressure of having a real trainer there, right? I've only been using it very, very shortly, so I can't say that I've improved, right? They're new. We just started with FitBod this week, but I'm going to get on it every day, and we're going to see over time how well it works out. Maybe I can fire my trainer, you know what I'm saying? Save myself a little scratch, a lot of coffees to drink around here. But if you are struggling with what to do, how do I come up with a workout to get these goals? FitBod is for you. They create a personalized workout routine based on your goals, fitness level, and the available equipment, and workouts that adapt to your growth. So each workout is challenging enough to push you to make progress. FitBod also tracks your muscle recovery to help you avoid burnout and keep up your momentum. All their workouts are fine-tuned by experienced certified personal trainers to bring best practices and exercise science to you. And you can level up your workouts with customized fitness plans that work for you with over 1,000 demonstration videos. So get in shape this summer with FitBod. Join FitBod today to get your personalized workout plan. Get 25% off your subscription or try the app free for 7 days at fitbod.me/tire. That's FITBOD.me/tire. And now back to the show. It's so funny. It's other cars since the Lexus LC500 came out, which I think was like 17 or 18. And I haven't driven one. We had a yellow convertible.
Wow.
But it was
long
like
time ago.
6 years ago, right? So haven't driven one since. And they made some like nuanced suspension tweaks and like they changed the strut tower bracing and this and that. It's got a touch screen now. The interface is like incredibly basic, like a Toyota, but like usable, which is like better than was before with the touchpad. So it's fine. It's just like it's fine. But it's crazy how, and this happened with the Nissan GTR also, how this car has now become the analog choice. Dude, compared to an SL, compared to any GT car on the road at any price, this is more analog. The steering feels more analog. It's a naturally aspirated V8 with an 8-speed gearbox that's not bad, but it's not, it's a little bit of an older school design. And it makes a sound that cars don't make anymore. It has a power band that cars don't have anymore. It's hilarious how much you need to rev the shit out of this thing to get any power. Consequently, you can't fucking drive it in automatic. It's like, it's bad. You can putter around town and drive. If you try to go like a medium pace on a medium road or a highway over mountains, like I-70 in Colorado, or this thing is like, it's picking a new gear every 2 seconds because the power band is up here. Meanwhile, manual mode, it's an 8-speed, just go click, click, and sit it in 5, and it will just, and in 5, like, it's fine. Just leave it.
Right.
When you tell it what to do, it's beautifully responsive and balanced and fun.
But it's got that programming for max MPG, and
when
the engine's not great at that.
It has no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Like, if so, you gotta be like, want to use the paddle shifters. And if you do, it's pretty good in that. But it's got a very nice balance with the PS5S tires. It's got a bunch of grip. The traction control sucks. That is some garbage mid 2000s era traction control. But if you fully turn it off in hairpins, you can get a beautifully balanced bit of oversteer. that's just really, really nice.
Is it 8-speed or 10-speed? Lexus says 10.
Is it 10?
Direct shift automatic, 10-speed. I mean, that's even more gears, which is probably why it hunts so much.
I don't. Whenever I drove it in any mode that showed a gear indicator on the screen, it never went over 8, and I can't imagine that there's more ratios. The thing would be like idling, even at speed. I can't. Really?
Unless this is for the hybrid.
That can't be right. I think it's the 8-speed that it's always had. I don't think it has some. Yeah. It's kind of funny. It's kind of like, in a lot of ways, it's like a really fancy Mustang. I mean, it has it has the same displacement engine with very similar power. It makes a similar sound. You know, it has an automatic, just like the Mustang's automatic, a torque converter based auto. It's kind of similar sized in terms of a footprint to a Mustang. It's obviously much better looking. It's much better built. It's much tighter. Is that the updated car or something? Am I driving I don't have the key on me. Am I driving a 24? Is there something new? 5-liter V8. It's
10-speed direct shift.
Maybe I'm wrong. I will before I'm writing this for Road and Track. I haven't actually researched.
Sure, and I know that you always want to be accurate. So pulling it up.
I don't know, but I never saw a number on the gauge higher than 8.
Imagine if it has a 10-speed, but the transmission software is so optimized for MPG it never uses 9 and 10 because the ratios are actually too fucking tall.
Ouroboros of transmission technology.
That would be really funny.
No, actually, one of the things I think about the transmission is that it would be better for enthusiasts, not necessarily if it had fewer gears, but if it held individual gears longer. And it didn't, it will do a double downshift a lot. I'm like, oh, God, stop. It doesn't need to do that.
Well, does it go 10 to 8 or 8 to 6? Or does it go 8, 7, 6 in quick succession?
Sometimes both.
Okay, because I don't mind a double. I like the skip, though. I don't want to have a quick layover.
I like the skip if it's smooth. If it's smooth, it's good. It was much, much better. If the road got the least bit twisty or the least bit hilly, I put that motherfucker in manual and I kept it there. Having said that, and I've told Lexus about this, Ali was following me, and he said to me multiple times, I smell transmission fluid from your car. Now, everything seemed okay, but, and this is my butt and my hands, this isn't science. They're picking up the car tomorrow. I said, when you take the car back, I think you should maybe check the transmission because of what Ali said about the smell. And I feel, and I have no evidence, but I feel that over my loan, the shifts got a little rougher and I just, it doesn't feel like it's shifting like a $120,000 car should be shifting. So I don't have a diagnosis,
might have a leak,
but it might not have an issue or a burned or leaked transmission fluid or something. Pretty low mile car, 3,000 mile car, 4,000 now. So I do want to restrain a little bit about the transmission too much, but even at the beginning, it's an old school design. It goes all the way back to the ISF, really. But goddamn, what a nice car.
How is suspension? The last time I drove one of these at distance, we had one on drive years ago, and I remember I drove it back from our track shoot. I drove it 400 miles through Death Valley or whatever, canyons at night. But I just remember it feeling very soft. And we were doing a 7/10, 8/10 transit, but I was like, well, this thing is awesome, but it leans a lot. So
it's better. It has a little body roll, but it's adaptive shocks. To put it this way, there are some cars where you never put the shocks in sport, right? My Porsche, never. Most Mercedes, you never want to put the shock because they're too stiff, right? And like you really want comfort. This car, sport shocks.
Okay.
Like this car, I would do sport shocks unless the road was particularly bumpy. So yeah, it's set up soft. It's set up to be a daily driver.
This car's sport is Porsche's normal.
Pretty much.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly charming. Especially if you pull up the picture from my Instagram, this sort of copper color it is.
It's really
cool. A fabulous color. I mean, I'm driving around with Ali's mint green 911 Targa, and I'm in this copper, like rose gold colored thing. We got stopped and chatted a bunch.
The LC is sweet.
Oh, it's so nice.
I would love to own one of these things.
You know here's what's great about it. I did 4 9-hour driving days in a row. Normally, like, if I was going to do that kind of driving, like if I'm driving a sports car, like my body will be pretty fucked up. And if I'm driving like a Bentley, it won't be. The LC is a much simpler, it's much more like a Mustang than it is like a Bentley, right?
Yeah, of course.
The seats have forward, back, up, down, lumbar. And they have heating and cooling. But as far as like, they don't have any of those advanced adjustments. It's not an 18-way seat. It's probably an 8-way seat. Fine.
Just shaped the right way.
It's just shaped the right way.
That's what Acura does.
It doesn't need to be fancy. It's just made right.
Yeah.
Aside from this potential maybe transmission leak, the build quality, exceptional. Not a fucking squeak, not a rattle, not a nothing. Everything fits exactly right. I drove something the other day. What did I drive?
Well, this had 1,000 miles on it. It's basically brand new. So I would not expect.
But yeah.
Did you drive something recently that was new and had some
I drove a brand new car recently where the fucking door fit of the left and the right were completely different, and now I can't remember what it was. What was it?
I can't believe you rented a Tesla and didn't tell me about it.
It was something where I was pretty horrified at the difference in the panel gaps. I'll remember it at a time that is like much later.
Okay.
It was pretty horrifying though. But like, yeah, no, of course. It's much closer to the price of a Mustang than a Bentley, but it's got enough of that what you want out of a Bentley, which is just, I got to do so many hours in this thing, and I want it to be really comfortable, and it just is. But if it's time to go quick, you're going quick. Like you can go real quick in this car. It's not a problem.
470 horsepower, that's enough.
But you got to zing the fuck out of this motor, though. It has nothing below $4,000, nothing. With the normal economy tune of the transmission, it never wants to shift past like 3. And so you have to press the pedal to the fucking floor, and then it just zings the thing to the moon, and it gets all confused. So in manual mode, you can do a really good job of what?
Yeah, max torque is at 4,800.
Yeah, it's way up there.
And then max power is 7,100. But max torque
That's
at
like
48.
my car.
Yeah. That's way up there.
Yeah, for a big GT,
yeah.
That weighs 4,000 pounds. That's like,
let me see.
I do have to say, I know we've seen, actually Johnny got some spy video. You see that on his gram? Johnny caught the replacement for this car testing on Angeles Crest.
Oh, someone asked about that. Okay.
Yeah. All I saw was his video, but like, full disclosure, Zach and I were hired by an independent research company to give our opinions on a future luxury product for a high-end Japanese automaker. And, we all kind of know what this thing is going to be, right? It's going to be twin turbo, probably all-wheel drive, probably hybrid. It's going to be super fast, but it's going to be the evolution of this.
Here's some interesting trivia for you.
Uh-oh.
At what RPM do you think a 2024 Mustang GT makes its maximum torque and horsepower?
Folks, we got to take one more quick break from the show for HelloFresh. Listen, I love HelloFresh, and it's the summertime now. It's hot out. It's barbecue season. It's beach season. It's workout season, cycling season, surfing, whatever it is, from home improvements to self-care to having fun in the sun, whatever it is. But you don't want to waste the time this summer spending time in the kitchen or worse, the supermarket. You can make your summer both enjoyable and delicious by getting the #1 meal kit as voted by USA Today's readers. It's HelloFresh. They make it so easy. HelloFresh makes it easy to fit quick, home-cooked meals into your schedule every week by curating delicious recipes right to your door, like panko-crusted chimichurri barramundi or sun-dried tomato grilled cheese sandos, as well as over 100 seasonal snacks, sides, and treats. And man, I loved HelloFresh. Here's what I really liked about HelloFresh. They sent me recipes that I could choose from their website that looked great, but that I might not find on my own or that might be too annoying to make on my own. But because HelloFresh sends you the exact right amount of ingredients, you don't need to buy like a big jar of something and then use a third of it. You don't need to buy an expensive spice and then use it once. Because they send you exactly the right amount of ingredients to make this meal, there's less waste and there's less stuff rotting in your fridge or your cupboard. It's great. You can choose from 60 recipes every week, including prep and bake and ready-made meals, plus those snacks and shakes and everything. It's delivered right to your door. It's so good. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh at HelloFresh.com/ are you ready for this? Smokin' Tire 10FM. That stands for 10 free meals with a free item for life. HelloFresh.com/ Smoking Tire 10FM for 10 free meals and a free item in every box. HelloFresh.com/ Smoking Tire 10FM. One per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. And finally, we are brought to you today by Smalls. Listen, in this program, I'm talking about 3 kittens that I found in a tree. And you all know me. We love our cats. My 4 cats are the best. And they don't ask for too much. But they are picky on what they eat. Like my little cat, Monty, I have a little spreadsheet of what he will and won't eat. Right? My cat Finn sometimes has some digestive issues. He throws up a lot. Mainly, I think it's because he eats bamboo, which is not great for them. But Smalls is here, and Smalls is the best. I've been feeding my cat Smalls for the last couple months, and they love it. Even Monty, who's picky as long as he gets chicken. He doesn't like tuna or salmon. He likes chicken and turkey. Smalls cat food is protein-packed, made with preservative-free ingredients you'd find in your fridge, delivered right to your door. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. So get 60% off your first order plus free shipping at Smalls.com with promo code TIRE for a limited time only. Smalls is so good for your cats. My cats really, really prefer it. I used to give them a very well-known healthy brand, and they got pretty bored of it, honestly. And when I did a side-by-side, the cats did go to Smalls. I mean, look, they know how much I need. I have a regular order with them. It comes right to my door. I don't have to go to the store. And my cats are happy. Their coat looks good. They're not shedding so much. I really like it. After switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. That's a big deal. And the team at Smalls is so confident that your cat will love their product that you can try it risk-free. That means they will refund you if your cat won't eat their food. For a limited time only, because you're a Smoking Tire listener, you can get 60% off your first order of Smalls, plus free shipping by using my code TIRE. That's 60% off when you head over to smalls.com and use promo code TIRE. Again, promo code TIRE for 60% off your first order plus free shipping at smalls.com. And now back to the show. Oh, okay. A GT, huh? Mm-hmm. May I have the red line, Bob?
The red line.
Do you know? Can I phone a friend? Okay, I don't need the red line. I don't need the red line. I'll say that a Mustang GT makes peak.
Red line is 7,500.
Okay, peak torque 3,800, peak power 7,000.
Peak torque. This is from the drive.com, but peak torque is 4,900.
Oh wow,
higher than the LC. Wild,
but close, right? 4,800, 4,900. Isn't the LC400?
It is. No,
Yeah.
they're close. You said 38. And peak power is 7150.
Oh, so I'm
It's
telling
wild.
you.
These sound like Mustangs, too. When they go through the
They
canyons,
really sound-
the firing order might be the same.
They sound like Mustangs, but like just with a little more tightness to them. Everything you can feel the tightness in the powertrain that I don't get from a Mustang. It's not to shit on a Mustang. This is double the price. But like that's where like if I say it feels like a Mustang and you go, well, why would I pay the extra? It's for that bit of
I would pay
tightness.
the extra in a moment.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I also it would be
Especially-
cool to see the underside of these and how the Mustang exhaust is routed and how that changes the pulses because they sound very similar at low RPM
Yeah.
and then they change a little bit at the higher RPM.
Yeah. There's a
funky.
big change in sound with this Lexus engine when it comes on cam. It's a pretty hard line, and when it happens, you get a ton of almost E46 M3 like intake, which you don't get so much in the Mustang. But hey, shout out to Ford for even making that a comparison. But great trunk and tons of room, tons of comfort, and I'll get back to you on if that transmission was messing up. But either way, I mean, I honestly definitely endorse this product. This is a fucking great car for the money. And like a couple of our fans DM'd or whatever, like that bought them when they were like new, when they first came out and have had them and they're like, yeah, no major issues. Very good car. So.
If I could justify owning a Grand Touring luxury coupe beyond the one I have, like this is the thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you can't lie to yourself and say this is a track car in any way, which you can do with an M3.
No,
so
but
that's
it could
what
be
I'm
a
saying.
daily.
It would be very comfortable daily.
Yeah, it could be a daily.
Carries two people, all that stuff.
It has a back seat.
Oh, the dog can be in the back seat.
You could put Tucker in the back seat.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and some important things are analog. The temperature controls are levers. There's a scrolly wheel for volume, a scrolly wheel to scroll through tracks on the radio. There are buttons on the steering wheel, but they're real buttons, not haptic. It is clearly like an aging car, but it's still like great. And some of the things about it that are like kind of old, like we sort of still kind of want because you can't really get them anywhere else anymore, but you can still get them here. You know, this is like I bought my Spider because I was like, it's a brand new car, but like it's like an old car, like
right.
Stick, key, manual top, strap pulls, like that's like an old car. Like this is kind of like what a Mercedes SL or a BMW M8 or whatever was like 8 years ago.
Well, it has none of the problems you've mentioned with the Ferrari Roma. Different price point, but Ferrari, because they have to be at the pinnacle of technology and charge more money, they go, let's put haptic buttons everywhere, and they order those products from their suppliers, and then everyone starts testing them and say that we hate these, and they go, fuck, we have 6 more years of this. You know,
that was it. It was the Roma.
Volkswagen did it. What?
Where the panel gap on the left side and the right side were wildly different.
Oh,
it was
really?
The Roma. Yeah. That was it. Thank you for showing me that picture. I knew the second someone showed me my Instagram feed that it would be there. Yeah, it was the Roma.
Got it. Wowzers.
Yeah, that didn't take very long. But then here's the thing. Zach. Then we got to Truckee, which is a place that is new to me. I haven't really spent a lot of time in Truckee. What a lovely town.
So good.
I'm into it.
Ooh, snowstorm hits there.
I'm into Truckee.
Gorgeous.
I'm into summer Truckee, too. Summer
Also
Truckee
nice.
was very nice. We stayed in a really cool hotel. Shout out to Gravity House. The guy working there was a fan and really helped me find a place that for this event to do some potential off-roading, which is fucking cool.
Hold on. Before you're saying that the group wouldn't want to drive half a mile on gravel.
Not in their own cars.
Okay.
Yeah, not in their own cars. I don't want to give more details because it's not a finalized thing,
Okay.
but a potential sponsor potentially would want to show
To do a
off
cool
an
thing.
off-road product.
Good add-on. All right.
Yeah, it would be a good fun add-on. But Ali was like, I want to show you around Truckee. And we took his car. And I got in it and I went, oh, fuck me. 911 Targas are the best.
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
What seats does he have? 18 way?
18 ways.
Yeah.
They might be 14, but whatever. Comfort seats, stick shift, and he's got, the roof tune and the whatever. I don't forget what exhaust it is, but when he was in front, I was just hearing like his car sounds amazing. It's just like fucking tuner turbo noises, and it sounds great. No burble. No fake burble tune, just all spooly noises. Fabulous.
Cool.
Yeah. So come drive with me in September if you want. It's going to be a really good time. Food's going to be great. Wine's going to be great. Roads are fucking great. I got a V8 Vantage booked for that event. That'll be aces. And, we're going to have great weather. It's not going to be like 1,000 degrees. It'll be a good time. Do you want to talk about the kittens that I found?
Yeah.
Found kittens.
In the tree.
Literally in a tree. So they weren't.
So funny.
Hannah and her friend were going for a walk in our neighborhood. Okay, and Hannah's friend is a dog. It's a very friendly dog. And most of the time it does not need to be on a leash. It's a very well trained and friendly dog. But they're walking, and all of a sudden, dog fucking runs and goes around a corner, and it has chased these little tiny kittens that are now up a tree. So they come back to the house, and Hannah's like, there's kittens, they're in a tree. And so...
You grab your cape.
Grab the cape. I go back. We go back, and Hannah thought there were two. There was actually three. Two torties, which is the black and brown, and then a gray tortie mix, all girls. So they're up the tree like 15 feet. And we don't know what to do. I don't own a ladder that tall. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to stay here. Hannah, you go back to the house and get some kitten food, which we always keep on hand. You never know. Get some kitten food.
Wait, that different than snacks? You have a lot of cat snacks.
We have a lot of cat snacks. Well, there's always left. There's always a point at which the kitten is no longer a kitten.
Right. Okay.
And there's some leftover kitten food,
okay.
So it's just there. And so she brings back the kitten food. And obviously these cats, like first, while she's gone, I go, I can't believe I'm going to do this. But I call my local fire station. And I go, hey, man, can't believe I'm making this call, but...
It's 1950. There's a cat in the tree.
There's 3 kittens, click. And I am...
Really?
Yeah, clicked. I'm clicked. So, okay, that's no longer an option. Shout out to you guys. I don't want to fucking shit on them. Not because I don't think they should be shit on, but like because it's the name of the place where I live.
Well, I wonder if there was an era where that was something they frequently responded to, or if it's just like comics made us think that, and it's just the stereotype that's lived on, and fire departments like, whoever put that story out there, Marmaduke, go fuck yourself.
Sure.
For decades.
And maybe I deserve that, but like, I had no other ideas.
Sure.
But when she came back with the food, they started to make their way down the tree on their own when I opened the food and put it out. So food works. And they started to try and come down. And the first one, like 8 feet from the ground, like fell on the ground. I was like, oh, shit. And I got it, put it next to the food. She was okay. And then I managed to like get the other ones like to sort of jumping height and like yoink them off the tree. And they ate, and they instantly liked me. We became friends right away, and I was like, I can't have 7 cats. This is too much.
You pussy. No pun intended.
Can't have 7 cats, but
Underachiever.
they really were very social and very happy to be fed. They ate so much, and Hannah got the carrier, and there were some neighbors across the street, so we talked to them as friend. Oh, and so she called over her other friend who also lives in our neighborhood, and the other friend agreed to take them in the immediate need. And so these photos are of the friend's house, and they're like around the corner from us. And I posted this on Instagram. Sadly, I got about 10 inquiries for the gray girl and none for the torties, which is very, very sad. A, because torties are beautiful, and B, because torties are fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's people are weird.
People are really weird. I think I did the torties a disservice. If you go to the last photo, the gray kitten.
Those Hannah shoes, I just want to linger on that for
they're
people.
Hannah shoes.
All right,
Yes, everyone
watching.
see my wife's feet in shoes. The gray. I mean, look, they're all very adorable. But keep going. The last photo is of the gray one, which is hit in a perfect sunbeam in like portrait mode, and it makes her look like a little angel.
Yeah. And then this one is the torty's like on the sidewalk looking down.
Yeah.
Right. So you need a
this
photo
one is
shoot.
I didn't do a photo shoot, but it's okay. I think, and I want to little Noxie Wood. Michael T.O. Vinrunkel, automotive journalist. He writes for The Drive. He's got a very funny name. You'd fucking know it if you saw it. I think that at 7 o'clock tonight, he's adopting all three.
Wow,
which is like
cool.
gold mine, because keeping them together was like the number one priority. Actually, keeping them safe, is the number one priority. Keeping them together is the number two priority. And this is a person who I know personally and has a lot of experience owning cats. You can't just like give cats to people off the internet. So, I still have a backup list in case for some reason, but I think this is an optimal situation. For a variety of reasons. His experience, his taking all three, and he lives close by, which means I could visit, potentially, and be an uncle to these kittens. But even though almost everybody who inquired just inquired about the gray one, I still appreciate you. So thanks for that. So rescued a few kittens. That's pretty nice.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And they're all so sweet. This was yesterday.
Wow. All right. Well, that's a nice
busy weekend. So
yeah,
you
but you got back from this super long panic attack of drive, and you're like, oh, I get to rescue some kittens.
Right. Exactly.
That's cool.
What about you? You were
adorable.
driving this Mazda CX50 for the week. And,
I did. I didn't get all the specs on it yet, so I'll post an Instagram
We'll save
thing.
that.
But I will say, like, quickly, it's got a lot of analog controls, which is very nice. Seats are very
Mazda
comfortable.
does that well.
They do that very well.
Yeah.
There's some things it didn't do great.
Like accelerate?
Accelerate is part of it.
Mazda doesn't do that well.
The color was interesting. And the biggest glaring thing is the ride makes no sense to me. This thing has Wild Peak off-road tires, and it's this strange sand color. Cars come in different colors, sure. This is just an interesting choice. So it looks like the off-road, outback, wilderness thing. It rides like it has KW V3s on it.
What?
It is stiff.
That's
it's
weird.
proper stiff. And someone DM me, they own one. They've had it for a year.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, it feels like it's kind of stiff on sharp edges and cracks. Is that your assessment as well? I said, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, around this town, it feels quite sporty. It's very
so weird.
Which doesn't make sense given the tire choice, given the aesthetics of it, whatever. So
That's odd.
If you live in a place with smooth mountain roads, it's sure great, but off-road would not be a very good choice.
Okay.
So I was a little confused by that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a confusing choice.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Well, we can expect
Yeah, we'll do. I'll talk about it in the next show. I just want to get all the the numbers of the competitors and all that.
Do you
stuff.
want to talk about the hydrogen thing?
Yeah, we can talk
All
about
right.
the hydrogen thing. So the short version is that a bunch of owners have gotten together to sue Toyota over the hydrogen Mirai. I read the webpage of the law firm that is conducting this. It's called JasonIngber.com. Jason Ingber is the lawyer. And in this description, this was updated in April, they were going to do a class action. They have since changed it to individual suits.
Oh, that's like Hannah's Twitter thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hannah's Twitter. She was, they were good talking about suing in class action.
Yeah,
but it's individual, and there's like the lawyer that was representing Hannah, has 2,000 individual cases. Hannah's was like number 130. I was like, seriously.
Look, this is going to take a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
The list of plaintiffs here. Each of these
crazy.
lines has multiple names, at least two of them, and there's like 30 lines shown.
Yeah, it looks like some Ellis Island shit.
Actually, each of these is 20. So this is like 100 names.
Okay.
And there's so they list a bunch of reasons. They say that the cars were having problems. I think it's really built around salesmen pushing the Mirai while not informing customers of the fueling issues, meaning shortages of fuel at stations, lack of
The freezing
stations,
thing.
the nozzle freezing to the car,
Yeah.
which then you can't get it off until it warms back up again. And people reporting what I experienced, which is you can only fill up your car a fifth of the way, and then you have to move on from the station. And that is...
Wait, why was that?
So this is probably a problem of misinformation. This is what I was told. To back up, I got a Mirai press car a few years ago, and if you saw my reel, I got stuck overnight at this
but
gas
in a place
station.
that doesn't smell bad. Fortunately, it smells
In the Central
great.
Valley of California, off of the 5, there is one hydrogen station. And if that hydrogen station is out of fuel, you stay the night at that hotel, which is what I had to do.
Which is next to a fucking
It's next
cattle
to like a cattle ranch thing,
ranch.
so it smells bad for 15 seconds, and then you eat an overpriced steak, which is ironic because it's right next to the cattle station. And people that were in line were saying, "Yeah, sometimes I can only fill up a quarter tank, and the pump clicks off, and I don't understand why." The man who delivered the hydrogen to the station explained that the way the system works is there's a giant tank of hydrogen somewhere on the property, and then you have like your filling tank, which pressurizes to then put hydrogen into your car. But what you need is the pressure in that filling tank to be higher than the pressure in your tank. Otherwise, once it equalizes, it can't put more gas in there because it's not a liquid. You know what I'm saying?
And there isn't like a pump to pump the gas.
Exactly.
It's just all
compressed
done on pressure.
hydrogen. It's on pressure.
Yeah.
So once that pressure equalizes, like your ears
That's
or whatever, that's it. So if people don't wait for the filling tank to fill and there's no graphic or alert that says, hey, this middle tank is filling, people just pump, it clicks off, they go, what the fuck? They try again, it doesn't give you any more hydrogen, they leave.
And it doesn't, there's not like a thing?
When I had this experience a few years ago, and it would be so easy to have a digital graphic that says, wait 18 more minutes, wait 17 more minutes.
Sure.
That didn't exist.
Yeah.
So this lawsuit is from a bunch of different owners. Let's see. People are saying they received vehicles that are virtually unusable due to a critically deficient hydrogen infrastructure. There's only 20 fuel nozzles across the state, many of which are frequently inoperable. People are saying salesmen misrepresented to them how the cars worked.
Yeah.
One of the plaintiffs was a man in the military who was deciding between a Mirai and a Prius, and the salesman said, well, they're actually very similar, and pushed for the Mirai. They're not similar because of the fueling situation.
Sure.
So this is a kind of multifaceted case. And you can read more about this. Autopian did a good job of breaking it down. And then, of course, if you go to their website, it gets into a little bit more detail.
Who decided to make it individual cases?
I believe the law firm.
Yeah. I bet there's so many different ways in which these people were lied to. Like, if a salesman lies to you, like, that's probably one kind of fraud or non-fraud. If there's other types of there's probably different types of.
So here's what they said. Our firm initially, and this is quote, our firm initially filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of Mirai owners to hold Toyota accountable for the widespread fuel system failures, power loss issues, and performance defects affecting these vehicles. However, after speaking directly with numerous Mirai drivers and hearing how differently each person was impacted, ranging from lost use of their vehicle to safety concerns, we recognize these cases couldn't be treated as now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What that tells me is that maybe some of these complaints will be thrown out. So I've reached out to the law firm because I want to know what were some of the safety situations, and when they say like the vehicle didn't work correctly, is that the pump situation or is that the vehicle itself having a problem? So we'll follow up.
Sure. But that basically says what I just guessed, which is that people had different impacts, and like some of those might be a small claims,
sure,
and some of them might be hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some of them might be who knows what. So some of them might just be, well, a salesman lied to them, which actually isn't a crime. There's probably a spectrum of that.
Yeah, I think they'll figure out if this was if it was one dealership, if it's multiple dealerships pushing the Mirai instead of other hybrids they offer and misleading customers. Like that seems like, and I'm not a lawyer, but that seems like a different issue from the vehicle itself having a mechanical problem to the fueling issues being, and now is that Toyota's fault, or is that one of the several different companies that ran the hydrogen station's fault?
I'm sure. God, all right.
It's fucking messy.
No, I know, but my friend Brian, who is in the hydrogen industry, knows like who fucked who here, kind of. I think the state offered to pay for a bunch of it and then pulled the funding. There were supposed to be lots of stations that ultimately just like didn't get built for who knows what reason.
Yeah.
I feel for that. I mean, I don't want a fucking hydrogen car.
Nope.
So
it's cool in theory, but as we've discovered the couple times we've tested them. Actually, I didn't drive a Mirai. I had the Neo, but we had a Mirai press car.
Yeah,
but same problem.
Same shit.
Would have had the same problem.
Yeah.
It's availability. It's the system. It's the information given to owners. And in a lot of cases, it's the dealerships telling folks, hey, there's this many stations, which is not that many in the state. And then you find out it's only in California. You can't even drive the thing outside California because there's literally zero other hydrogen stations.
It's a one-state car.
It is a one-state car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a very, predictable commute that happens to go by a hydrogen station, they're fucking giving these things away.
We had listeners even back then that were like, I did the math, and they went, my lease is cheaper than this, and I always drive this route, and there's always fuel. And for that specific person, the economics really work out. Yeah. But for anyone who tries to use this as a normal car, it sucks.
Yeah, it does. That's a problem. Especially now that basically the, interstate charge network is dependable and available, and every car is able, every car that needs to find chargers has onboard software for finding chargers.
And it's legitimately, in my experience, real world experience, it would be quicker to plug a car in and go get coffee and come back than it was to sit there at the pump and wait for the pump to prime itself, because I probably can't leave. People will think I'm an asshole for unattending leaving my car. Yeah. And I still had to wait for the thing for a long time.
You have to wait, but you have to wait there.
I have to wait there, and I don't know how long I have to wait to fill the car up.
That is crazy. That's because that was like early stage EV charger failures, where it was like the problem wasn't getting the electricity into the fucking car. The problem was reading my credit card. It's like, this is the holdup, like my fucking credit card. And so with the hydrogen thing, it's like the problem is that you can't figure out a way to put a 50-cent LCD screen on this thing that says pump will be ready in 6 minutes.
If they did that, because what they did is they pitched it as this is just as quick as fueling a gas car. That's true if the tank is pressurized. But if you start showing people you have to wait 20 minutes between hydrogen cars, and there's a line of cars, that myth of a 5-minute fuel up goes away.
Can that little tank only, the filling tank, only do one car?
I think it depends on which station you went to. Like, the reason Sarah and I got stuck is we had to drive from Santa Cruz to San Jose for a hydrogen station. And there were a bunch of cars in line, and we watched one person give up. Then the next person waited and fueled their car for like 5 minutes, and we talked to them and got their story. And then I called like the helpline, and they said the place you're at is the one, they have hydrogen, that you just have to wait there. I waited 15 minutes, then I tried to fuel it. I got half the tank, and I said, okay, well, I know there's this place in the middle of Central Valley. We'll make it there. And when I was on the phone with customer service, I said, is there hydrogen at that place? What was it called again?
Harris Ranch.
Harris Ranch. I said, is there hydrogen there? They said, yes. But in the 2 hours it took us to get there, all of the hydrogen there was exhausted and gone. So I arrived and there was no hydrogen. So me and another number of other people were stuck overnight until the hydrogen was delivered.
I wonder if you could sue to get your
Well, they keep inviting me to the rally. They're like, you got to show up, man, because they know my story. And I like, look, I'm not an owner. I don't.
Inviting you to what?
Well, there was a big protest in Sacramento. There's another one planned for Los Angeles on the 29th.
Where?
The State House or whatever. I think they're trying to get state support or something like that. And like, look, I don't own. I said I'll do this. I will talk about this case because it's interesting and I experienced it. Yeah. But I don't own a car. So I don't own a Mirai. Like, I'm not going to show up to the courthouse.
On stage.
Yeah.
When I'm...
the 1 week I had one of these.
I spent the night at the Harris Ranch.
Yeah. They forced me and my wife to buy $38 hamburgers and stay at this hotel.
God damn.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with there.
No, if Delta reimburses me for a lost bag, they should totally reimburse. You should be getting reimbursed for that by somebody.
There's going to be a lot of, is it Toyota's fault? Is it the infrastructure's fault?
Yeah, because that station's like a shell or something, right?
One of the stations that was on, it's like Neo or Nexo or something like that. I don't know, it's blue. And then the one at and then the one at Harris Ranch, Shell owns the gas, but I can't remember who owns the hydrogen side of it. I don't know if it's the same one. Yeah, there's a few different companies, and it's problematic.
Yeah.
And that's not even getting into how they make the hydrogen, which we covered in our Mirai review. It's not. It could be clean. It's not right now.
Yeah.
So,
well, the clean way is very energy intensive, and that sort of
right.
makes
And then
it not worthwhile.
And then you need, then if you have clean energy, then you can do the energy intensive way.
Right.
Right now, they just they get it out of the ground.
Right now, it's fracking mainly.
Pretty much.
I mean, listen, if you can't get fucking rich while saving the planet, it is not worth doing. Because, like, saving the planet's great, but, like, capitalism.
I mean, look, if I could wave a magic wand, and this is magic, so don't come at me, bros, and I could go, here's all of the solar power we need, and then you can get water, desalinate it, and then extract hydrogen. Sure, that would make a lot of sense if we want to keep using some sort of combustion engine. But on the other hand, if we had, and then I think you use a lot less precious metals than if you gave everyone an EV and used the limitless solar power to charge.
Well, hydrogen
the EV.
is supposed to be the most abundant element in the universe, right? We
Sure.
can get it from fucking anywhere.
Right.
Right? So, in theory, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. But it's converting it to this tiny thing that you can put in a tank.
That last 10%. There's a guy I know who has a company that is working on a combustion hydrogen as opposed to a fuel cell hydrogen. Fuel cell hydrogen is basically it takes the hydrogen and turns it into electricity and water through a reaction, right? And that's why it deep drips water out the tailpipe like it's always fucking leaking.
Yep.
This dude is trying to burn it like you would burn E85, basically. And the difference is apparently if you're burning it versus fuel celling it, you can use a much, much lower pressure, like lower pressure by a factor of a lot, like 10 or more. I think it goes from like 4-digit pressures to 2-digit pressures, actually. But yeah, they said they have like prototypes, and they can do. They're looking for. I was like, you need to go to Myers Manx. They will build a hydrogen combustion car in 2 seconds.
There's a couple people that have tested race cars in, I think, like as a like a development series within IMSA, or it's not IMSA, but something like that. I think Toyota's done it, of course.
Is like trying to do it too with their Baja. They've got a hydrogen Baja team.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, it is. Should we go to the people?
Yeah, we can go to the people.
Probably a few of them out there, at least two or
we
three.
We have a lot of questions.
Of course, if you want to ask us some questions, if you want to get the show live, if you want to get the show before everybody else, if you want to not have to deal with those pesky advertisements, if you want to get exclusive early access to merch collabs and other things like that, patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast is where you do it. Not to mention, you support the boy over here and his boy and the things that we do together over here. Yeah, got a lot of them. Shit, I can't figure it out. Do I want to wear my glasses or not?
Do you want me to make the font bigger?
Just make the font bigger because I'm getting older, and I think then no glasses. Okay, whoa, what's happened here? Okay. Roth V says, basically, what newer sports coupe that you could daily drive prioritizes steering feel besides the Porsche sports cars? The 86 twins.
Oh, yeah.
Those probably have the best steering feel on the market for the money, right?
Alpine was great.
Well, let's assume that Roth V is in the U.S.
Right.
If you're in fucking Europe, just end it now and get an Alpine.
I think the 86 twins are better than Miatas now. I think Miatas is a little bit overpowered and just not quite as good as it used to be. And GR Corolla is pretty good, I would say. That has good steering.
the
the Alpha.
Integra Type S, the Alpha Giulia.
The Alpha Giulia Quad,
Giulia.
better than the M3.
Yeah. Giulia Quad. That's pretty good. Yeah, those three are good. We're going to need more Advil, says, my father has a neurodegenerative disorder, won't be able to walk much longer. That's a bummer. I'm sorry to hear that. What is the best complete passenger experience car to take him on drives? Under $60K? That's interesting.
I was going to say
Passenger
V12.
experience.
I think you go for sound. Sound with some speed. And let's assume your dad's a car guy. So I think the only asterisk is, what is he into? You know, if he's an older gentleman, obviously. If he's super into muscle cars, then you get something like a ZL1 that just makes all the good noise and goes like fuck.
Yeah, I mean, my first question would be, what does he want? Because like if this whole thing is for him,
sure.
Like, does he have an opinion? I'm sure he does. If you're going to buy a car that's just for him to enjoy himself, I'm sure he has some kind of opinion on what he would enjoy himself.
Yeah. The other thing is, is it OP's car that he wants to take his dad in a lot and dad will like it, or is it like your dad's going to buy this car that you'll drive him around in? That's two different things.
Yeah. Under $60K, you could, how about like an Aston DB9 Volante with an exhaust on it? That'll
cool.
go a long way.
Yeah.
You know, or a V8 Vantage Roadster. That would be pretty. That would be a good time. Obviously, you know, Porsches are great. They're nice. Well, let's see. But yeah.
Oh, you can get an R8. Oh wait, 60. No,
60
don't do that.
Probably not.
No.
I mean, you could get a fucking 981 Cayman or Boxster with a light flywheel and a nice sounding exhaust on it, and that would be a good time.
A convertible might be fun, or you could go for like RS4s or any kind of cool sounding V8.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but we need to know what he wants.
Yeah.
That's the first question. You have to do more scrolling now because the screen
font's way bigger.
Font's way bigger. Mini Finny. Oh, how do you store my watches? I got a big motherfucking safe, son. It's heavy. Shit's like 900 pounds. It's big as fuck.
Do you do pillows? Do you wrap them around the pillows?
Oh, in that. Okay. So I have go to Bosphorus Leather. I shout out to Bosphorus Leather. They make these fucking cases, and they make infinite numbers of them. They have like these briefcases for watches. Yeah, these guys. So I have the one. I don't know. I have the ones that hold 15 watches, and you get them. You choose your own leather. They have ones with like rivets, and mine don't like look quite as fancy as that like crazy riveted one. But I have a couple of those that live in a fucking big ass heavy safe. And then I got
you had one of these for a while too.
Well, the rolls are for if you want to travel.
Right.
That's the rolls, and then they have a variety of these sort of briefcase. I don't display my shit.
Yeah.
There's people that want to like look at a watch box and look at their watches. I get that. But I got some at the bank, at the safety deposit box.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I got most are in the big heavy boy safe. J-Cat says, the Lexus Halo car, yeah. With an alleged price double the LC500, will the new Lexus replacement be an instant hit or suffer the same fate as the LFA did on launch? And I think it's probably more of what Lexus customers actually want than the LC500 is. I think all-wheel drive, a twin-turbo, torquey motor. God damn, does it look good, though?
Ooh,
looks fucking
low
mean, doesn't
and
it?
Wide. It does look cool.
Yeah, it looks mean and wide. And high, even higher performance. Because, the LC500 is quick enough, but it's not that fast in the modern, compared to your modern stuff.
Even when it came out, like, it was a little behind, I think, some of the other stuff.
Once you get it fucking going, if you keep the revs up, like, it's pretty quick. It's quicker on a track because you're at the top of the power band all the time. When you're in and out of the power band all the time, it's like not as quick. I think it'll be really fast, and I do think they will sell them. Angela's breast. Don't know what that is, but okay. What are your cutoff points for cars and watches that make you say to yourself, oh, that's a big boy collector? For cars, if you're driving roofs, then you know something.
Yeah.
You're if you're driving a roof that you bought new, you know something.
When you spend near hypercar money on something that doesn't look like a 5-year-old Druid, you go, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard in LA because there's a lot of people that have nice cars but like aren't quite as rich as you would think considering their car. We have some people that I've dealt with in the storage business that are shockingly cheap considering the fucking cars they've got. And I don't know how they got their allocations like that.
People with customized stuff, I think, especially if it's like an Alphaholics type thing, where it's a celebrated car that they have then fully restored and customized.
Where it's like an atelier.
Which one's that?
No.
What?
That's not a car thing. It's an atelier is like Singer, Gunther, Alphaholics, where it's a company that does this one thing at a super high level.
Yeah, if it comes from
and they
someone
charge
like that,
all the money.
Definitely.
Yeah. With watches, actually, I think it was like John Mayer, who, say what you will about the guy, but he's a fabulous guitar player and he knows a thing or two about watches. If you see somebody out and about wearing a Patek Aquanaut like travel time, like a world time or a travel time Patek Aquanaut, if that's what you're sort of wearing out and about, you've got fucking heavy bike shit at home. Because the people that have one super fancy Patek tend to not like wear it out, and the people that have Aquanauts use them as beaters.
Wow.
The two people I know,
it's like an $80,000 watch.
Yeah, but it's not even that it's $80,000. It's $80,000, and you have to spend $500,000 to be invited to buy one.
Wow. Or you can get this replica for $400.
Yeah, dude. There's some very interesting and very high quality reproductions that are available right now. That there's fucking fakey Rolexes right now that will fool watchmakers. Like they will fool like a bad watchmaker or fool a dealer, which is crazy. And that's not why I buy watches like that. But the fakes are amazing. 99.9% of people cannot spot one of those good fakes. Most dealers couldn't. Yeah. You have to open it up and look at the fucking movement and stuff, or have a real one right next to it. Ice in our cars, not our streets. Shout out to you. That's a pretty good one. Although I like electric cars too. I like having an ice chest in my car. Yeah. Why do some models like the Corvette, Mustang, and 911 stand the test of time while others fade away when all models have stronger and weaker generations? The corporate commitment and strength of brand.
Yeah.
When you already have a big brand, it makes a lot of sense to keep that big brand going. And once you get through 2 or 3 generations and the car is an icon, you probably don't want to throw that away. There's
that flywheel effect. They also have to keep it going, but it's gotten the longer it's been around, the more momentum it has. And Corvette, like most of the generations are really good performance cars, and the oil crisis is like not really Corvette's fault. So you go, oh, it's got this huge cachet of amazing decades and years. And so it's just, that's why it remains an icon, and they keep it going.
Yeah. Yep. I don't have an STI. Says, we mentioned sims and sim racing in passing. Have we ever considered getting into sim racing and trying out some iRacing special events? No.
My friends that have done iRacing, some of whom have done it like a pretty high level, they go, it's a whole different ball game from other sim stuff. It's way harder, and it's not. They said it's not fun. It's like difficult.
Imagine a video game that's not fun.
Right. I don't like to play those.
No, I don't either. If I'm at someone's house or place and there's a sim, I'll give it 10 fucking minutes. I'll have a little go, see what's up. No, though. We drive real shit so much all the time.
I know. If I had a little more space I've said this I think recently, like the office at my house, we would probably have a little sim thing because I'd like to use it to keep my track skills sharper because I don't get as much track access as you do. But iRacing just seems like work. Like, you know, you got to learn these tire models and it responds different. And you can't, I've heard like you can't lean on the tire much. It doesn't slide a little. It just steps out and it's gone. That's not what I want to do for fun.
I enjoy simulator racing once in a while. It's a good time, but like I would not. No, it's not really a thing I ever think about doing. Sir Bartholomew Archibald Queefington III. That is someone with a very big house and a very small income. I simply adore your splendid podcast. It's become the highlight of my auditory engagements. Nice. He's relocating to San Diego this August. Did you know that San Diego means a whale's vagina? Where I will be driving a Ford Edge every day. Boo. Not boo. It's just
I like those.
No, there's nothing wrong with the Ford Edge. I don't know why I said boo. It's an enthusiast podcast, and that's a boring car. That's why. Now, I thought he was sort of going that way. That said, I find myself enchanted by the idea of acquiring a C4 Corvette, ideally with an LT1 and a 6-speed, as a weekend diversion. I'm toying with the notion of a budget supercharger build. Any thoughts? I think there's a lot of value in late C4 Corvettes. I really do. They don't look great, but they drive better than they look.
I think they've grown on me. They look pretty cool profile. I don't like pop-up lights, but in the daytime, they're nice. The interiors are whatever.
Not great.
Yeah,
they're not great. But you know, if you're as a San Diego weekend car on a budget, C4 Corvette's all right. I probably would skip the supercharger. I mean, if you really give a shit, you can like do the heads cam thing that some people do, but like I'd leave it alone. I don't think it would make that Corvette that much better. Yeah,
and in San Diego, there's not a ton of good canyon road nearby. There's no drag strip, I don't think. Like, so you're not going to – I don't think you'll gain much by getting that performance. You won't get to stretch its legs very often, and all you'll have is sound, which you can have. Just put a good set of pipes on it, and you'll get a lot of the experience.
And maybe some suspension and some good tires, and you can make that thing pretty fun to drive.
Very true. You could autocross or track it, you know.
But superchargers end up being $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. In San Diego, it's going to get hot. You need a charge cooler for something like that. They don't really fit so great in C4 engine compartments. There's not a lot of space in there. I wouldn't.
How much would that build be also? Because we might start creeping into like C5 Z06 territory.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you just buy that instead?
I would just put a nice set of pipes on it and a good set of shocks and coilovers or whatever. And oh wait, C4s are leaf springs, so it would be good shocks, not coilovers. But you can get that kind of stuff. Yeah, that could be a really fun canyon car without a lot. You don't really need a lot more power in that thing. It's fast, actually. Turns out those cars are quick. Off-piste watch recommendation for a high school graduation gift for my son. He'll be attending a private military university in Vermont. Whoa. Thinking about some type of field watch, budget up to $1,500. So many options, dude. Hamiltons are always the go-to. But, you know, in the used market right now, there's a lot of options. Now, military, they have, you know, there's like specific military like history connection watches, like what they call the Dirty Dozen watches, which are a series of field watches. They were from a variety of different manufacturers that were issued to soldiers. There were 12 of them, and that's why they're called Dirty Dozen watches. Most of those are not rare, and if you wanted to buy him like a cool vintage Dirty Dozen watch, like you probably could. I don't think that's what you are talking about here.
If you want to guarantee his employment, you get a Trump watch.
Yeah.
Get him one of those.
I would say high-end G-Shock or like a Hamilton field watch is probably what you want to be doing here for up to $1,500. And that will be a great watch to take to a military university. Barbecue sauce on my titties. What in a parallel universe, what would an Aston Martin DB10 or V10 Vantage look like? I don't think V10s are really an Aston Martin type of engine. That tone, can you imagine any of the V10s, a Viper, an R8, a Lambo. Any of those cars with that sound coming out of an Aston, it doesn't do it for me.
I agree.
I think the 8s and the 12s have a better tone than the 10s for a front-engine car.
Yeah. But that's just because, that's what we've heard them in for a long time.
Yeah.
Astons have been 8s, 12s, inline 6s way back in the day, right?
Inline 6s,
So
they used some. They had their own engines, but then they also used some Jag. They had the 1997. The first DB7s had supercharged Jag XJS engines in them, and they're kind of interesting actually in their own way. Drew Frink sold my ND Miata, and I want to add something different and quirky. Okay. I have a Morris Minor and an MGB for the canyons. What other kinds of cars would you think about? Maybe an old 4x4, street or mild off-road. Well,
30 to 50 grand. Ooh.
that's a lot of money.
Pajero.
That's a whole, Pajero Evo.
Ooh, yep.
That's the right choice. Yeah. I don't think I could think of anything better than that for that kind of money paired with those other two types of vehicles. Maybe you could get one of those like European diesel like G-Wagons, like an 80s imported G-Wagon. They're well made. The parts are expensive as hell, but Bentley Turbo R. Just saying, did you see Alana bought an Arnage T?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, she can
it's
fix
fucking
it.
hard,
That's
dude.
bold.
Yeah. The Arnage T is the good one too. That's the twin turbo version of my motor, of the 6 3/4. Wow. Because Arnages came in 2 engines. It was in the big BMW, like when Rolls and Bentley went to Volkswagen and Rolls went to BMW, but it was still Rolls Bentley at that time, and BMW was like mid takeover, and so the Bentley Arnage Red Label had the Bentley motor. The Bentley Arnage Green Label had the BMW V8 in it, which was a piece of shit in that car. Yeah. So you do not want the green label.
God.
You want the red label. Or the T, which is the faster one. Yeah. 7 Seikos recently moved to South Florida. I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm looking for a manual convertible. I'm approximately Matt sized. Okay. Target budget is $30K, which keeps the field pretty limited. Yes, it does. V6 1LE Camaro is the best handling power price compromise in this range. Should I be considering a 370Z or an M235i convertible instead? Dude, you don't have corners. What do you need a sports car for?
Well, that's why you don't need the 1LE.
Yeah.
The M235
1LE
would be a much better, more comfortable, luxurious choice. I think that's the way. Out of these 3, I'd go with that for Florida, for sure.
Yeah, but if you could get a V8 Camaro SS convertible.
True.
With a manual for $30K.
Yeah.
100% you can, all fucking day. Or a Mustang GT convertible with a manual, all fucking day. It's just how many miles and what year can you afford?
Yeah, and how much maintenance can you afford? That would also influence 235 versus Mustangs.
Yeah. 235i is not heinous.
No, I think they're very nice cars to get around
in terms of maintenance cost. They're not like hideously bad.
I don't know, I'd have to look.
Yeah.
Better than the 135, we know that.
Yeah. That's true. Also like just saying, you could get if I wanted a budget convertible with a manual, I would get a like 2006 BMW 330 CI with a manual. You get one on Bring a Trailer, it would have like no miles on it. Do a major service on it. You're into this thing for 25, and if you keep it nice, it's worth that forever. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and that like an E46 today, if you put CarPlay in it, that still feels like a new car. Mm-hmm. Like it's crazy. I would do that. That's if it was my money.
Thaddeus, I forgot, he submitted a question to us via text.
Oh, really?
If you and I were given $2 million to buy the other person one car, what would you buy for me, and what would I buy for you?
And okay,
and you
it's
can't,
one car?
One car. Can't do a 3-car Monty garage thing. It's just one vehicle. Up to 2. We don't have to, we don't have to nail the 2.
I mean, I think I don't know if it would get it. I mean, which I think I might be able to get the Hoonicorn for $2 million. No, I couldn't. Probably not. The Hoona truck went for $900,000 at Barrett Jackson.
Yeah, that's not the one. It's got I don't like the engine or the shape of it.
Just saying,
I understand.
Like,
yeah,
it would be a Gymkhana type vehicle.
Great answer.
Or it would be like a rally car. Like it would be like that. Like if I was going to use something brand new, it would be that ProDrive thing. That ProDrive 22B carbon thing. That would be that.
Great answer. I would get you the Singer Turbo that we just drove.
That would be correct as well. I would be very, very happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would need nothing else.
Right.
Silence of the Lambo. That's called hybrid mode. E-mode. Kendrick Lamar's latest album is called GNX. What was the sentiment of the Buick GNX back in the day? Were they good cars, and has time been kind to them? How old do you think I am?
Right. Yeah. What were they like?
Just so you know, in 1987, I was 6.
Yeah, I was 5. So.
I remember when I was 15 or 16 and really started to get into drag racing, that them fucking guys at the drag strip all respected the Grand National and the GNX. The GNXs, they didn't get driven. Like
that's the problem with them.
Yeah, no, every GNX had 8 miles on it.
Yeah.
They didn't get driven. You never saw them on the street. They were too rare. And we're talking about at the period of the 90s to the mid-2000s when muscle cars were just, they were too valuable to drive. Now they've, kind of softened a little bit. And some people did choose to drive them. There's a documentary about them.
Black Smoke?
I think, is that what it's called?
I think it was.
And it's like a 2-hour documentary, the gist of which is about 36 different people telling you that they have never seen a blacker car in their life.
Black Air, sorry. Black Air.
Yeah. They don't drive very well. They're kind of stupid. It's an attitude car. And I think there was never a point in between when that car was new and today where it didn't say exactly the same thing going down the road. It never had a period where it wasn't cool to see a nice Grand National. It never had a period where people were like, them things are stupid. Like, it never happened. They came out of the box. They were awesome. And then they kind of stayed awesome to that audience. And I think people like Kendrick, I talked to Killer Mike about Grand Nationals. I think black folks that grew up seeing people driving them and shit, they were all about that. His is
a Grand National that was converted, right? His is not a GNX. Killer Mike's. He had that one built right before the Grammys. Musto and Soupy
that was not
built
a real good GNX.
Yeah, because GNXs, they made 547.
Yeah.
They made 1,500 Buick Turbos, and then they made 20,000 Grand Nationals. I think his was a Grand National converted to LS9.
If you were going to do a fucking Hemmings build, you wouldn't use a real real GNX. The difference is you eliminate by doing the build.
Sure. there's people were mad at him for cutting apart the Grand National, and it's like they made 20. They made a lot.
There's a bunch of Grand
and there's
Nationals.
a lot of them sitting nowhere with rust. Like, just take the engine out. Who cares?
There's a bunch of Grand Nationals. They're not that precious. We've had 3 different GNXs here at Westside. One is here now. And the 2 that are no longer here had like no miles on them, like low 4 figures miles. And the one that's here now has like 70,000 miles on it, and it looks just as nice as the brand new ones did. It's actually kind of great. They drive like shit. They're just sloppy 80s 3-speed.
Yeah, you put the foot down, it goes.
You can get Detroit Speed makes a fucking whole like chassis for them basically, and if you could do a manual swap and a chassis, you could have a fun little hot rod, but no one's really doing that. They should, though. Randy says on June 12th, Musk tweeted that they were launching the updated Model S and X, and they don't look much different, and I've heard no media coverage. Is this more of him trying to pump the stock? No, you know what's funny there? He actually wasn't lying. There is an updated Model S and Model X. They haven't changed much. One thing they did change is the price. They made it more expensive. Another thing they changed is they dropped the top speed of the Plaid from 200 to 150.
I saw that story, but I also
true?
saw a comment saying the website was a little misleading, and if you get the like track package or whatever, the top speed is still the same.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, then actually, if they did that, that would be one of a very small number of responsible things that they did because, you shouldn't be able to go 200 without the ceramic brakes.
Right. But it got a new color. It got some new bushings, a little more range for the Model S.
That's an old fucking car, man.
I know, but the prices on all of them went up.
Yeah,
like
$5,000. Yeah, I'm sure that'll help people.
A little
buy
better
them.
noise cancellation.
Listen, it's $5,000 more expensive, but you get to drive around a right-wing political billboard.
Yeah, you can't buy the bumper sticker.
Yeah,
you see those around, and sometimes I see them on a car that's really new, and I go, "You bought that afterwards."
50% or more of those. I got this before Elon was crazy. Are from a car where that is a literal impossibility.
Yeah. I've seen him.
Yeah.
Like, you're on dealer tags, dude.
Thoughts on his robo-taxi launch in Austin? Seems like a bunch of desperate attempts for relevance. Yes, that is actually, that second bit there is what I would call Elon Musk in 2025.
Niedermeyer was retweeting on Blue Sky some funny clips of, like, robo-taxi stopping in the middle of the road at 3 different places. It came to a stop when there was a police car on a different road. Like, it saw blue lights and went, "Oh, emergency situation," and the robotaxi just stopped in the middle of the road. So right now it's in beta and not great.
And there's drivers monitoring.
I don't know. I couldn't tell from the photo. The photo was from behind a little ways away, and that was
Certainly
not in the post. So.
Yikes. Well, there
there
more?
are 4 pages more.
We've been going for an hour and a half, so we certainly don't have to do that. But let's do 2 more and call it a day. We'll save the other ones for our next show. Adam says, what are your preferred stereo settings and EQ levels in your car? I listen to a mix of music and podcasts, if that makes any difference. Bro, I don't have the ear.
Depends on the stereo, too.
It hugely depends on the stereo.
Yeah.
But I do not have the ear to advise you how to set your car.
Yeah.
I mean, in I guess a middle of the road car, I typically put the treble pretty high, put the bass medium high, and then leave the mid sort of in the middle. Usually that kind of does it, but like, I don't know. It really matters what kind of stereo you're listening to.
In the Mazda, the stereo sounded very thin, and then I went and I bumped bass up by 3, and it was a little better for conversation and for music, but it totally depends on the stereo.
Yeah. Fick and Chucker, that's pretty good. With so many popular watch and color combinations named after pop culture characters, what cartoon comic inspired combo would you like to see? Okay. That's an interesting one. There's stuff like the Snoopy. I don't know about pop culture characters. I mean, like we've got, in terms of Rolex, you've got Pepsi, Coke, root beer. You've got Starbucks. You've got Hulk. Most of those are like brands, not characters.
Yeah. Well, when I got mine painted, I got the hour hand done sort of in Savage Dragon Green, which is a comic book from my youth.
Did you literally say Savage Dragon Green?
I was like, yeah.
And he understood what you were talking about?
I sent him some pictures from the comic, and I was like, here's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
And then he sent me 3 options, and I went, that one.
Okay.
But like a full like watch combo design with the back and everything. I don't know. It's hard now. They're all like brand deals and now it's just all advertisements.
Well,
like.
A lot of them are collab brand deals, but like the Rolex nicknames are just sort of organic based on the color themes. But like what cartoon? I mean, I guess there's Batman. There's Hulk. Well, I've never seen. It's not a cartoon character, but I've never seen Sprite. I want to see a Rolex GMT.
It's clear.
That has a green and yellow. No, the corporate colors. That has Fresca. A Fresca watch.
You see their new cans? They rebranded it.
New cans again?
Yeah. I think. Well, I don't know. They look new to me.
They changed to like they're trying to look classy.
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah,
it's called like soda beverage.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
soda beverage.
I swear to God, it's not.
No, it is. You're right. It is something that's stupid like that. Yeah.
You need a Fresca watch.
I saw someone did it on Instagram as a rendering once. It's the Sprite where it's green and yellow on the bezel, which I really liked. Yeah, with a
That'd be cool.
dial. Yeah, it would be cool. So I think you could get it custom. Did you find the can?
Oh yeah.
Is it sparkling soda beverage?
It's sparkling soda water,
sparkling soda water is a really misleading.
Yes.
Because what it is diet soda.
Yeah, it's aspartame.
That's a diet soda.
And citrus, whatever the fuck. But it's definitely not. It tastes more like soda than it does like sparkling water.
Because it absolutely is soda. To call that fucking sparkling soda water is very, very.
If you do a blind taste test between that and LaCroix and Club Soda, you're picking Fresca if they ask you to find it.
Now, in fairness, ain't nothing goes better with a little vodka or a little Blanco tequila than a Fresca sparkling soda water.
Yeah.
That is a true dream of a lazy cocktail drink.
Yeah, it goes well with tequila also, we discovered at the Lemons race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite celebrity tequila? Based on the taste of the tequila, not the quality of the celebrity.
We had the Rock, we had Terramana up there, but it was only with it was mixed, so I don't know.
Okay. But was it like gross?
No, it's fine.
It's
It's
middle of the
totally
road.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what's the other
I've
one?
had Casamigos, I assume, and that's Clooney.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I can do that on the rocks.
Casamigos is kind of like my new not well. I don't mean to be like uppity, but like my that's like my kind of, because I don't want to drink cheap tequila. I work too hard to drink cheap garbage tequila.
I drink it very rarely, so if I drink it, I'll do mezcal on the rocks, and then I'm okay.
So I tried the Dos Hermanos, the Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston mezcal.
A lot of energy in that one.
I don't really like mezcal, and I really didn't like their mezcal.
If it's heavy-handed on the smoke. Yeah.
It's like drinking a campfire.
Yeah,
fucking gnarly.
That's not good.
Yeah, it was gnarly. But I don't like mezcal anyway.
Okay.
I'll real quick, this one below it on the regular cat reviews said last week, does the LC500 with the updated touchscreen fix the infotainment issues with the mouse and trackpad? The answer to that is yes. The touchscreen with scrolly wheels interface is much better. Hannah, who is my UI expert at home, drove it for 5 minutes and was like, we need to talk about this. And she really didn't like that the forward and back buttons on the steering wheel only do your favorites. You can't use the steering wheel button to scroll through the all channels.
I completely agree. If that's how it works and it's not a setting or a thing you can change, it is fucking dumb.
It's bad.
Because if you're listening to satellite radio, 4 channels in a row are hip-hop. And sometimes I like different ones.
Yeah.
And if I don't favorite all of them, you're saying I can't just go to the next hip-hop station?
With the steering wheel control. Now there's a center console scrolly wheel where you can scroll individual channels outside of your favorites, even if you're using that in tandem with the steering wheel favorites.
And
no.
I wish there should be a toggle in settings where you can say I want this steering wheel control to do favorites or channel by channel. Because I could totally see why someone goes, how come it's going channel by channel? My favorites are 50 channels apart. Sure, give us the option. Because there's so much good music on sat radio from like 27 to 49.
Yeah.
So
I need to individually be able to go through those channels. The only other UI complaint I have about the LC is the heated and cooled seats is 2 touches in the touch screen, and then you have to touch to select your seat. You can't, it's not on the home screen, it's not a button on the side, and it actually has an auto setting, so it just matches kind of whatever the climate control is doing, which works pretty well. But still, that's too many menus for fucking heated seats.
Yeah. Because it may be something you start when you're parked, but you're going to change it once you've been moving for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a bad one. But other than that, I do love me some LC500. That is a delight. And I'll figure out, I'm pretty sure something isn't quite right with the trans on this one. It seems like it was either burning or leaking fluid in a way that's not natural. But I wouldn't be surprised if they call me tomorrow and go, yep, you were right about that. But don't want to be presumptuous.
2 gears fell out of it, by the way.
Stupid. Yeah, also it didn't have 9th or 10th gear, apparently. That's all, folks. We're going to be back later this week. It's it's actually going to be real busy around here because there's an Aston Martin press launch happening here this week. So a lot's happening at WCCS. And obviously I can't review the product because I'm providing the facility. Are you doing it? Did they call you?
They did not call me, but it's going to be here all day, so I'll just pop by and see if I can do it.
Yeah.
Look at their new UI.
Yeah, it's the CarPlay Ultra Aston Martin launch. So so Zach can do it because he's not benefiting from Aston Martin being here.
Right.
But that's all. We appreciate you. And if you're over 40, make sure you see a cardiologist every year. That's my PSA, this one. Bye, guys.